Americans don't care.
Yeah.
They only care enough about the fact that they've got somebody in the leadership position in this country that gives them this false sense of a right to hate. And I think that that false sense of a right to hate is going to linger longer than most of us believe. I mean, I look at some of the protests that are going on around the country, and I get a big smile because I look at it and I see multi-ethnicity, multi-generational. I saw a protest earlier today where a woman was walking with her 6-year-old child in her hand and trying to explain to her child what racism was. So that gives me heart. But then I also recognize that out of the same breath of the man who spews hate, his entire staff spews almost the same hate, and he's going to have close to 50,000 people sign a document that says, I don't care if your hate kills me, just give me the right to hate.
Yeah, yeah.
That is what hurts my heart. So when you ask, what do I feel, man, I tell you, I'm heartened by some things, I'm disheartened by other things. I'm heartened by the fact that some of the most conservative people in this country, our military leaders, have stepped out and finally said enough is enough.
Yes.
Yeah, and I took an oath of office. I took that oath myself that said, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And you've had several military leaders step forward to say, we have had enough with this non-foreign enemy. It's time for us to call him out for what he is. I'm heartened by that.
You know, Montel, it makes me want to push you a little and ask you, because in the midst of what you're feeling right now, tell me what you hope for. What do you hope for in America?
You know, Dr. Stein, I tell you, one of the things that has really thrown me a little bit is in all of the debates and all of the conversations that we see in our media, we can't seem to get away from our lowest common denominator. We want to make sure that every conversation that we have, no matter what the outlet is always a conflict. And then some anchor tries to act like they're the ones who are going to solve that problem. When they don't, all they do is continue to fire up that conflict. What do I hope happens? I really truly wish that someone were to ask the right question. And I've not heard the right question asked yet by anyone. And the right question, I think, is, what do you want? Those who are protesting against the protesters, what is it that you want? You say you want to make America great again. What does that mean? You want to take America back to slavery, so you want the right to own people again? Is that what you really want? You want the right to be able to rape someone whenever you choose? You want the right to murder someone whenever you choose? You want the right to be able to steal someone's property whenever you choose? Is that what you want? Tell me what it is you want. You want to take every person that is not the specific hue of white and kick them out of America? What does that leave you with? If we remember from, the 1920s on, there's not one race that's entered this country that has not been discriminated against, whether it be Italian Americans, Jewish Americans, Polish Americans, German Americans, all have been discriminated against. So once you kick away all the people of color and those hues of color and shades that you don't enjoy, then you start kicking away the different shades of you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
folks start turning on each other.
Of course. Of course.
First of all, everything you just said has so much wisdom in it that it almost seems it's so wise, it comes across as the most obvious thing someone should ask. At the end of the day, what is it that white America wants? What do you, and be honest about it, right?
Absolutely. And I got to say, I temper myself when I say, what is it that white America wants? Because not all of white America is on the same page. It's not. I've had conversations with Caucasian friends of mine who have said, I don't understand. I hate no one. And they really look at me with, the most sympathetic and empathetic eyes. And it's not that they've been silent, but they just didn't recognize, from their perspective. And I try to point out the fact that, yes, but you weren't living in this brown skin. And they acknowledge that. But they still say, but at the end of the day, I don't hate anyone and I never will. And we have to acknowledge some of them. Those are some of the people that are out there protesting. Those are some of the people that I saw being beaten in rallies in California and in New York. As a matter of fact, I'll share something with you I haven't shared with anybody yet, and told them that my daughter wouldn't mind me doing this. My daughter participated in a protest a few days ago in Los Angeles, the one that was televised, and I just happened to be watching CNN's feed of this at the exact same moment, and the camera was on that corner, and I didn't recognize my daughter in the crowd, and she was one of them that got shot by a rubber bullet. And when I say shot by a rubber bullet, shot and it ripped her skin in her abdomen, and she was shot not because she was jumping up and down on a car, not because she was trying to loot. She was standing in the second row next to a Caucasian woman. My daughter happens to be biracial. She was standing next to a Caucasian woman and an African-American woman, and she literally looked up to the police officer through two other people and said, "Excuse me, sir, where is it that you want us to go? Which way? We can't move any further. There's a wall behind us. We can't move." He didn't answer. She said, "Sir, where do you want us to go?" This guy leveled his gun at her point blank and shot her in her abdomen. And people had to pull her away. And she laid on the street. It took her 4 days to get some of the feeling back in her leg. And two of the people that moved her away happened to be Caucasian people who were in that protest. And they weren't jumping up and down on cars. They weren't damaging anything, just asking a question.
Right. You know what's amazing about what you just said? First, I'm praying and assuming that your daughter is getting stronger and better and she's safe.
She is feeling better, and I tell you, a big relief. She's starting to feel better. I got really worried for her because on her second day, people don't understand, these rubber bullets are no joke. Most people think, oh, you got shot by a rubber bullet, no big deal. There's a young man almost lost his life, got shot in the face. Another person lost a corner of their cheek.
I know a guy in Ohio, and I think it's Ohio or Louisville, lost his eye.
Yes.
Yeah.
So come on, these bullets are no joke, you know, and the damage that it did to her caused some severe muscle damage in her abdomen. And now she's slowly starting to recover from it. As soon as we get off this interview, I'm calling her tonight to see how she's doing.
You got to do it, because after you deal with the physical injury, there's the emotional, psychological trauma.
She will bear the trauma for the rest of her life.
No doubt
have
about it.
Look her in the face and shoot her for asking the question, what is it that you want? Yeah,
that's the way you've connected it makes what you're saying even richer than I first realized. And I guess part of what you're inviting us to do tonight is also to consider how this moment is different, because I think you're right. I think the fact that there are white folks in this country who get it. They have friends and connections, and they've been in universities, they've learned ideas, and they understand, and they're willing to renounce their privilege so that they can have solidarity and equality in America. My estimation of this moment, you tell me if you disagree or think I'm wrong, that what makes this moment different is that there's more solidarity in it.
I agree with you 100%, and that's where my hope comes from. My hope is really just hinged on that thought, that there are so many people who are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and sick and tired of being sick and tired for someone else. Mm-hmm. You know, there have been good people out here who have been concerned about the issues that face the African-American community for the last 20 years, but never hit them in the face. They never had to see a man. You cannot deny George Floyd's death. As much as you might be able to want to say, well, he got busted for coke and he got busted for this, fine. But you can't deny you saw 8 minutes, and 5 minutes of which when a man lost his life, and another 3 minutes when a man continued to crush his soul out of him. Mm. You can't. How can you deny it? Mm. No one can. And so that's where the solidarity is coming from. Finally, for once it's not like, I just think back on any of the other issues, from Rodney King to you name the individual. There was an excuse that could be made. Well, he was moving around. He was trying to get up. That man wasn't doing anything but trying to breathe.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, trying to connect with the soul of his mother, because he knew he was going to visit her.
Yeah.